Hello folks, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Lone Adventurer and today we're going to be playing through Ker Nethalas into the Midnight Throne, a game from Blackoath Entertainment. This is my 5th video playing through Ker Nethalas. If you want to check out this series from the get-go, part 1 will be linked up in the corner of the screen right about now, and other parts will be linked in the description down below, where you can also find a link through to Drive-Thru RPG if you find yourself wanting to give the game a go yourself. If you enjoy this video, do consider liking it, please, and commenting below, letting me know what you think. And you can also subscribe to my channel, but you knew that already, didn't you? Now, I have been playing this a little bit off camera. So if you come straight from video 4, I think I finished that up here in room 6, possibly. And I've done quite a few rooms since then. It's been moderately eventful. I've only faced one enemy during that whole time. We had a couple of events as well. And I'm now in a position where I think it would be a good idea to camp. And since we haven't had a camping session in this series so far, I thought it would be prudent to bring you back for the camping. So that's what I've done. But maybe we need to just see if there's anything worth mentioning that happened since you last were viewing the adventures of Antonio as he delves into the realm of the Veil Shifter. There was another trader, and once again I didn't do any trading, although I have found some extra coin now. So we're up to 40 coin. Somebody pointed out that in the last video when I didn't sell anything to the trader, I could have sold the trader the magic harpoon, which I thought I couldn't sell because I didn't know the magical properties, but a viewer pointed out that I could have rolled to see how many properties the magic item has. Apparently that is something you do when you first get the magical item, and based upon the number of properties we could have sold it at a particular price, so that would have given me more money to play with. I've been through a few doors. I think there are a couple of locked doors, two of which we broke down. No, 3. I've broken down 3 doors since I last recorded anything. Somebody pointed out that you have to always check for a trap on a door, regardless of whether it is locked or not, and I don't think I'd been doing that. Off camera I did actually start doing that, so hopefully I'm now in the habit of making that additional roll. So we have been doing that, and we did actually get a trap and resolved that trap. I think there was just one. We fought an Umbra Fiend, which was a little bit challenging. The Umbra Fiend got me down to 5 sanity. I was starting to get a bit twitchy about that, starting to worry that my sanity was going to drop all the way down. But nothing else particularly bad happened as a result of that. The other important thing that has happened is my tension die went down a few times. I think I went down to D4. We then rolled a 1 or a 2 on a D4, and we ended up getting a Growing Darkness event, which was just a one-off when we faced an opponent. That opponent automatically surprised me, and that was done. We since went back up to a D8. We rolled a 1 or a 2. We went back down to a D6, so that started to loop around a bit more quickly. And the domain die as well, we've got down to a D6. So I think in the previous video we were on a D8. We rolled a 1 or a 2, we went down to a D6. Now if we roll a 1 or a 2, we'll go down to a D4. And then if we roll a 1 or a 2 again, we would have found the lair of the Overseer, which would be good to get to in this video series. But right now, we need to camp. We are in room 11. In room 11, there was a corpse that rose up and attacked me. It scratched me, giving me the bleeding condition, and then I dispatched it. But now we are in a position where we can camp. So let's turn to the camping section and we'll talk about how that works. So setting camp, sooner or later you're going to have to take a proper break. Hours of fighting and constant tension will wear down the toughest of warriors, and there's only so much punishment your body can take until it gives up. In order to do so, you'll need to set camp. This implies securing a room because attempting to sleep when you don't know what sort of abomination will wander into your camp is far from relaxing. Tending to your wounds and preparing for what you need to go on. What we need to do is barricade the room that we are in, and then there's a range of other activities that we can do. Those activities affect our eventual camp check. So once we've done all the things that we want to do, we can settle down for some rest, essentially. When we do that, we roll a d20, and if we roll a 10 or more, then we're all good, we're safe. If we roll less than 10, we trigger an encounter from the encounter table, and we reduce some of the benefits that we get from setting up camp in the first place. Now, the things that we do are going to affect that roll, or rather affect modifiers that we would add to the number that we roll. But that will become clear as we go through this. Now, the main way that we can positively affect the die roll is by building barricades. And we are going to start with that. So we have got 23 crafting supplies, 14 cooking supplies. Now, when you barricade the room, we will spend crafting supplies to reinforce the doors. For each crafting supply we spend, we gain 1 exhaustion, but then we'll also get +5 to add to our camp check roll. So I think we're going to go straight in with 2. We're going to use 2 crafting supplies, taking me down to 21, and that will give us 2 exhaustion. So we're starting on 2 exhaustion, we're going up to 4 exhaustion, at least I think we were on 2 exhaustion. So 2 exhaustion, use 2 resources, and that means that we will get to add +10 to our camping roll, or whatever it's called. But now we want to do a bunch of useful things while we are safely behind our barrier, and these things are going to reduce the number that we roll. So we're going to start to negatively impact that +10 that we just gained. So what are we going to want to do? Let's just go through these roughly in order. First thing we can do is cooking. We can turn our cooking ingredients into food, edible rations of food. For each 1 cooking ingredient you spend, you gain 1 rations. Any amount of rations causes you to gain 1 exhaustion and reduces the camp check roll by 1. So we're going to do we're going to gain 1 exhaustion. Let's do that first since we're on this sheet. We're going to convert all our cooking resources into rations. So that's 14. We've done the exhaustion. Oh, and the camp check roll is reduced by 1. So now we're adding on +9 instead of +10. We're also going to craft some bandages. So we can turn 1 crafting supplies into 1 bandages. Crafting any amount of bandages causes you to gain 1 exhaustion. So you can see a pattern here, and reduces the camp roll by 1. So that is another exhaustion, taking up to 6. Getting pretty weary now. We're reducing the camp check roll by 1 down to 8. And we need to decide how many crafting supplies we're going to use to make how many bandages. I think we're going to go for 5, which will take me down to 16 crafting supplies. And we've got 5 bandages. Now, crafting lamp oil is one thing we can do, and also crafting torches is obviously the other way of remaining in light. So it looks to me like you need more crafting supplies to make lamp oil than you do to make torches. So there's obviously something beneficial about lamps and lamp oil that I haven't quite wrapped my head around yet. So I think I'm going to just stick to torches for now. Any number of torches crafted uses 1 crafting supply per 1 torch. You can make as many as you want, and we'll gain 1 exhaustion regardless of how many we want to make. And we are reducing the benefit of our roll, our advantage on the roll, and we're making what are we making? Torches. So let's make 2 torches. So that will take me down to 14 crafting supplies. Torches 2. So if you remember, we have got our current light source, our current torch, and that's got 9 spots left on it, so that can get us through another 9 rooms, I think, before we need to crack into our new supplies that we've made. Now we can heal conditions, so we can spend a bandage and heal our bleeding condition. So let's do that. Spending a bandage, gaining exhaustion, as you would imagine. We're removing the bleeding condition there, and that is healing. So we used a bandage, increased exhaustion by 1. We could repair stuff, we could do some resting, don't need to do those things. We could mess around with swapping mastery amulets if we had multiple mastery amulets. I've only got the 2, we've got those both equipped anyway. I have to say that pondering between the videos, the masteries, I kind of found myself regretting a little bit that I didn't have something more overtly aggressive that I could use during combat. You know, something like attacking with fireballs and stuff like that. There's plenty of masteries that allow you to attack more effectively. I just didn't go for them, and I have to say I do regret that a little bit. I think you probably should go for one combat aggressive damage doing mastery straight out of the gate. I've got Hexmancer, which can do damage at higher tiers, but at the moment not so much. Right, so that is the main chunk of camping. Now we need to roll our camp die to see whether we have camped safely here. And remember, I'm trying to roll 10 or more, and I'm adding 7 on. 20. So I've rolled a 27, completely safe, means we get these benefits. We regain all our toughness. We've already got all our toughness. We regain 1 health, that's good. That takes me back up to max health. We regain 1d4 sanity. 4. Lovely. That's taking me up to 9 sanity. And we're reducing exhaustion by 10. So I'm on 8 exhaustion. So that means we're reducing that all the way down to nothing. And then we get to have a nice, calm, peaceful rest. Now there is one other bit that we need to think about, which isn't listed in the camping section, but this is probably the main reason why I wanted to camp. Did I say that already? Maybe I didn't. If you go to the character progression section, skill improvement. An improvement check can be done while resting at your camp. So we have an opportunity to improve some of our skills. And it is these skills that we rolled a double on when we were doing skill checks. So I need to check to see whether I can improve Antonio's skill in athletics, bladed weapons, perception, resolve and scavenge. So we're going to roll D100. If we roll above the current skill score, we have the opportunity to increase the skill by D4. If we roll below, we still increase it by 1. So here we go, starting with athletics, trying to roll more than a 20. 61. Then we roll a D4. 4. This is good, isn't it? So we're going to be increasing that to 24. Bladed weapons. This is my good skill, but I've got to roll over 60 to improve it. 42. No. So that's just going to go up by 1 to 61. Dodge. Rolling more than... or not dodge, sorry. No. Perception. So I've got to roll more than 50. 10. Unfortunately not, so that's just going up to 51. Resolve is quite low. I've got to roll more than 30 to significantly improve my resolve. 72. Roll a d4. 2. Okay, that's better than nothing. So that's going up to 32. And finally, scavenge. My current score is 30. I've rolled a 37, which means that's 2 again. So that's going up to 32. So that's all there in the character progression section, not mentioned in the camping section, so potentially easy to overlook if you're not familiar with how it works. But there we go. I'm just going to have a quick pause and I'll update some of the numbers on this sheet. Alright, so I've had a little tidy up and I've updated the numbers on the sheet. A couple of bits I forgot to rub out there. And I also remembered that when you camp you need to consume a ration, so I reduced the number of rations that we have by 1. Did I do that, or did I imagine that I did that? No, we did. We made 14 rations, I reduced it to 13. Okay, so we are ready to push on as we continue our adventure. So we need to go down into a new room. I guess we'll go through this door here. So here we go. We need to check for persistent conditions. We don't have any. If there's a door, we need to check to see if it's locked. So to do this, we're going to roll a d20. 12 or more means it's locked. 11, got away with that. But we have to check to see whether there is a trap set on this door. And we have to do this every single time we go through a door. And I hadn't been doing that. 8, that means there is a trap. So we cannot dismantle the trap because we would need thieves' tools to do that. So what we need to do is a perception check to see whether we spot this trap. Our perception is 51, that's just gone up a little bit. We need to make this either more challenging or easier based upon the random difficulty table. And we've got that here, so we're going to roll a d8. 8 means that it's impossible. That's annoying, isn't it? So minus 30. Minus 30 to the difficulty. So impossible, modifier minus 30. So ordinarily we would be trying to roll below or equal to 51, but we're going to have to take 30 away from that. So we're going to have to try and roll below or equal to 21. And we've rolled 53, which is a fail. So that means we failed to see the trap. We need to roll to see the type of trap that it is. 3. A net trap suddenly traps the character who becomes entangled. But we do have the opportunity to dodge the trap once we see it. My dodge is 20. 28, almost, but not quite. So we've become entangled. I think that's a condition. Each attempt at liberating themselves increases exhaustion by 1. Right, where am I going to find out about entangled? In the conditions, entangled, the afflicted is wrapped in something that restricts their movement. They are incapable of moving. Any actions that imply movement suffer a minus 20 penalty. The entangled character can attempt an athletics check in order to remove this condition. This is a free action, but the character can choose to spend a standard action instead to receive a plus 20 to their athletics check. So presumably this affects my ability to function in combat because I'm all wrapped up. But I think we're going to... Oh, my athletics is 24. So when it says a standard action, I guess, does that mean just during combat? I'm not really sure, but let's start by rolling and seeing if we can get 24 or less. And I've done it. That's nice, isn't it? So I don't have to think about it too much. I've rolled 15 there. Means we have successfully disentangled ourselves, but that has increased our exhaustion by 1. So we're going up to 1 exhaustion. But I think that means we are through the door, thank goodness. So we're through the door, we are into a new area. We need to roll to see what shape we got going on. 25 gives us this somewhat insane corridor. I might adjust that to 26 and we'll just have a square room because I don't think I need that many doors. So this is going to be room number 12. Let's roll for a description. 18. Ghostly apparitions drift through these halls, their faint whispers offering cryptic warnings and messages. We need to reduce the light source by 1. I have forgotten the lair check and the tension die check, so let's do that now. So for tension die check, we're currently rolling a d6. 1. So we've gone down to a D4 for the next roll. And the lair check, we're rolling D6. 2! So the lair check is going down to a D4 as well. Means we are getting close to the Overseer's lair. So with that done, we need to roll to see whether we're going to have a combat encounter. So we're rolling a D20 on a 10 or more. We do have one. 15, so we are having a combat encounter. We need to roll a D6 and a D20 to see what it's going to be. So we rolled a 3 and a 2. So we're looking at 2 on the first encounter table. So encounter table A, number 2, is an amalgam. Amalgams are grotesque and nightmarish undead constructs, an horrific fusion of multiple corpses and dark magic. These abominations are easy to recognise due to their body swollen and bloated from the sickening union of flesh and decay. Super gross. Pieces of dismembered limbs and mismatched body parts jut out at odd angles, held together by taut necrotic sinews that seem on the verge of tearing apart at any moment. Makes me think of The Thing. The amalgam's lumbering movements are slow but unyielding, causing the very ground to tremble beneath its immense weight. The scent of death and decay hangs heavily around it, a macabre reminder of its unholy origins. Undead. Just one of them. Awareness of 20, endurance of 40, athletics of 60. It's a humanoid. Head is the weak spot. We've got armour on the chest. Combat skill of 40, magic resistance of 30, rolling on the spoils table. And it's got the traits of frightening and undead. I need to remind myself what those mean. Pretty sure frightening is to do with me losing sanity. Just going to go over the various modifiers that are going to be affecting this, mainly to remind myself. You lot probably remember what's going on here. So I'll be using my bladed weapon, which is a longsword. It's a slashing weapon which gives +1 damage if there is no armour on the body part that I'm hitting. Also allows for parrying, which gives me a +10 on defence rolls. That's useful. I also need to remember that I get advantage on perception checks, which includes the roll for initiative. But a negative thing I need to remember is that all enemies in the Veil Shifter's domain are frenzied, which means they do +2 damage. Hopefully I'll remember that. Now, this enemy has got 7 health, which is a little intimidating, seeing as I don't tend to do much more than 1 point of damage if I'm lucky. But let's get into it and give it a go. We need to roll for initiative, which is my perception versus their awareness. So I need some more dice. I'll be rolling the dice we normally roll, these greeny dice for Antonio, and these purpley blue dice for the amalgam. So I'm trying to roll under my perception, which is 51 now, and the amalgam is trying to roll under their awareness, which is 20. And I've got an advantage, which means I can flip the dice round for me, if that would help. Here we go. 62 for me, but I can flip that. 65 for the amalgam, that is a fail. So I've got advantage, so I can flip that to a 26, meaning I have successfully gained advantage, meaning I can go first. So the attacking character has advantage. As the attacking character, you get +10. I'm going to be using my bladed weapon, which means that I need to try and roll at or under 71. The amalgam will be using their combat skill of 40 in order to try and defend. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. See, I see a low number from the enemy and I automatically think they've done well. But not so. We have both rolled under our target number, but my roll is higher, and therefore I have been successful. So we need to roll to see where we are hitting the creature. 5. On a humanoid, 5 gives us the left leg, so that doesn't do anything different. So we need to roll a d6 to see how much damage we deal. And we've got the damage dealt table here. 4 gives us 1 point of damage, and that's all good. So we've done 1 point of damage to the enemy, and it is over to their turn. We're going to roll a d6 to see what they do. 1. Gruesome slam. Physical attack. The amalgam swings one of its massive limbs at a target in a brutal, sweeping motion, dealing d8 bludgeoning damage. So they're trying to roll under their combat skill for physical attack. We are once again using our bladed weapon, but remember, because we're defending, we're using the parrying ability, which means we're trying to roll under 71. At or under 71. 45, so that's decent. And 43, that is close. Although 43 is above their combat skill, so they have failed. I have succeeded, so I have been able to defend effectively. And that means I've done a defensive move. So we're going to roll d10 to see what advantage this defensive move gives us. 8. You press your advantage, reduce your opponent's next defensive roll by 20. That's pretty awesome. So we're going to go into that now. We're attacking again, exactly the same way. The enemy has rolled 96, so my advantage doesn't really make any difference because I have done brilliantly there. Antonio's rolled 34, so way less than our target number, way less than the amalgam's number is over their target number, so it doesn't really matter. Where do we hit the amalgam? 20. 20's the head. That's good news. That is their weak spot. So hitting the weak spot is considered an automatic critical hit. So basically we double the number of dice we're rolling. Yeah, we double the number of dice we're rolling. So that's all there is to it. So we're rolling 2d6. 5 and a 2, that's not amazing. Actually, no, it's not too bad. Because the 2 gives us 1 point of damage, the 5 gives us 2 points of damage, so we're doing 3 points of damage. That's actually pretty awesome. So pushing back onto the enemy's turn, so we need to see what attack it is going to do. 2, so that's the same, a gruesome slam. So we are rolling, their target number is the combat skill, our target number is bladed weapon plus 10 because we're parrying. So 36 for them, 70 for me. That's bad news. Both rolled under our target number. However, they've rolled... Oh, wait a minute. No, that's good for me, isn't it? I struggle with this sometimes. We've both rolled under our target number, but I have rolled higher because mine was 61 plus 10. So I was trying to roll under 71, so I've just about snuck it. So we have successfully defended, which is fantastic. We're going to roll d10 to see what defensive move we're doing. 6 gives us your next attack deals plus d10 damage. That is fantastic. We might be able to finish this beast off. Here we go. So this is me attacking with my bludgeoning, not my bludgeoning weapon. Have I said that already? Bladed weapon. With my bladed weapon, my long sword. I'm going for 61. They're going for 40. We've got there 46. That's good. And the enemy has rolled 8. So we've both rolled under our target number, but my number is higher, which means I have succeeded. Where are we hitting it? 8. 8 gives us the abdomen. That doesn't mean much of anything. So we have just successfully hit it, and we're going to roll a d10 plus our regular d6. Ooh, okay. 5 gives us 2 points. 3 gives us 1 point for a total of 3 points, meaning we have defeated the amalgam. Fantastic. That went very, very smoothly. Alright, so after our successful combat, we're going to recover 1d4 toughness. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do a check for armour integrity. Did it hit me? I don't think it hit me, actually. So, yeah, it's not going to damage my armour. I don't think I've had any armour damage yet so far. I don't think any enemy has hit me on the arms, which is the only bit that has got armour at the moment. We're going to check for spoils on page 196. Actually on this sheet that I've got here. So we're rolling a d6 on the spoils table. 4 gives us a roll on the valuable items table, d20. 18 gives us a magic item. Roll on the item table to find out what type of item you've found. d8, 7, a ring. Okay, so we've got a ring. Roll as many times as necessary on the corresponding item table to learn the details of the item's powers. If you roll twice on the same property, the effects stack. Item rarity table. Okay. 3. Uncommon. 1 magic property. So we've got a ring with 1 magic property, but we don't have an attunement crystal, so we can't find out anything else. But I tell you what, somebody pointed out, have I said this already? Somebody pointed out in a comment that you find out how many magical properties an item has when you find it, as we just did, but I didn't do that with my magic harpoon. So I'm just going to write ring. Maybe I should have written magic ring. I'm going to put magic in brackets now. Ring, magic, 1 property that we don't know yet. But the magic harpoon, we probably need to work out how many magic properties that has got as well, in case we want to sell it, because you can sell magic items, I think, at least to the guy who commented on a previous video, and I think it sounded kind of right. You can sell magical items if you don't know all the properties, because you do know how many properties they have, i.e. how rare they are, and that affects the cost. So that's the wrong dice. We need to roll d6. d10 rather. So 5. So that's uncommon as well. So there we go, folks. I think we'll stop that one there. We will carry on in the next video. It feels like we're quite close now. We're rolling a d4 for the lair dice. So every room we go into, we've got a 50-50 chance of it being the lair of the Overseer, and then we will do that final battle. Who knows how that will turn out? Maybe I'll end up just legging it and running away, but that's fine. But at least we'll get to check out that Overseer and see how that goes. Hopefully that'll happen in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, if you are still doing so, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.